welcome to Horror Cult Trash Over, the show that discusses all of the masterpieces and trashterpieces of genre cinema. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And this week for Japanuary, we are delivering on that promise of the masterpieces and trashterpieces, because we gave you masterpieces so far, and we're not going to do... I mean, let's say something right now. Japanese cinema is mostly perfect. We've hardly seen any bad Japanese films.
Yes. I feel like we've never been forced to watch bad Japanese films.
No.
So we've always geared towards ones that we believe are in keeping with our taste levels.
Yeah.
Now, I'll let you continue and then I'll...
Well, I was going to say...
further that point.
With most of Japanese cinema, it's so batshit crazy to the point that even if a film didn't go the way a filmmaker wanted it to go, they've provided enough crazy visuals and wild plot points to the point you wouldn't even probably notice.
Yeah.
Like,
the old saying
we
is,
always assume it's by design.
from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I feel like Japanese cinema, more than any other kind of cinema, kind of brings those two things together.
Yes.
Sublime and ridiculous, and make something of them.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily these films, but
well,
as a whole, from what we've seen,
wow,
yes.
I mean, I know one is ridiculous and one is sublime.
Yes. If you tell our listeners what the films are,
well, we'll tell you the theme. First of all, the theme is kaiju films that use mostly footage from their previous films, as well as providing a forced storyline with a child in the lead who can watch stock footage in his dreams.
Yes.
And for this double bill, we're bringing you All Monsters Attack and Gamera Super Monster.
Cheap cash-ins. Let's
Cheap
be honest.
cash-ins. Well, I will give you some backstory. Here. Let's start with All Monsters Attack. Part of the Godzilla franchise during the Showa era. And this was released in 1969. So, end of the 60s, a decade full of monster movies. Obviously the 50s are full of monster movies across all, America and Japan.
Yes.
But very much Godzilla launched it. The bigger, more specific style. You know how it's a cultural reset. But yeah, that's what I think Godzilla is. It brought the action. It was more well-made than your standard 50s monster movies and stuff. And, it brought in politics into it as well with its commentary. The human characters were interesting. And it just felt like a reset. It felt like something big. Not that I was around in the 50s to know this, but watching from a modern perspective.
Yeah.
It's highly influential.
Within Japanese cinema, yes, absolutely. Obviously...
But it went over
America,
to a Western audience.
Well, they already had King Kong.
They did.
They already had King Kong and the subsequent King Kong style films and sequels. But in Japan, they had Godzilla.
Yeah.
And numerous sequels from Godzilla. And this is the point I was making earlier. We've always kind of gone out of our way to watch Japanese cinema that we find interesting. So we knew that we would love Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Just from knowing Japanese cinema and knowing what the films were about, we knew we'd love Kurosawa. We knew we'd love the films of Takashi Miike. Mm-hmm. We knew that we would love House.
Yeah.
We knew that. These two films are not good films. They are not good films. And we watched them because they are Godzilla and Gamera sequels.
Yeah. So
we made our way through the box sets that we spent good money on.
Yeah.
And had to watch these.
Yeah. This is by far the worst Godzilla film.
Yes.
It's the Showa era of Godzilla is solid. Like, it's mostly really good films, and even if not, they're just so entertaining and everything. And this is entertaining, just not for the right reasons. This was actually a product of Gamera doing really well.
I see.
That launched the whole kids in kaiju films.
Yes.
And then we got this. This was deliberately set out to be a Godzilla film aimed at small children for release during the Christmas season.
Was this for DVD? For TV?
No.
No.
But it was made specifically for something. Whilst the prior Godzilla films had begun increasing their appeal to children, this was the first entry made as a family film specifically for children, and it marks the beginning of what is known as the Champion Festival era of Godzilla. So rather than wide releases, Toho's Champion Festival, the one that House was going to be submitted to,
I see.
made specifically for children, was a seasonal film campaign for children that consisted of matinee screenings of new films, along with popular cartoons, superhero shows, and re-releases of their older films. Every Godzilla movie of the 1970s would be made specifically for the Champion Festival, whilst previous entries would be re-edited and shortened to fit the program.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It makes sense.
The festival sounds like a fucking nightmare.
That makes sense. It does.
Yeah. How weird, a festival dedicated entirely to children. Can you imagine having Fright Fest for kids? Like, the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose the emphasis isn't on horror. It's just kids.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Films.
Directed
by Ishiro Honda, who considers the original Godzilla to be the best of the films, but this one's his personal favourite. He thinks this is a masterpiece.
Right. He's right and wrong. And I don't feel like I need to specify which is right and which is wrong.
He also directed Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, Battle in Outer Space. He directed the original.
Oh,
yeah.
Good gracious.
The H-Man, Gorath, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Frankenstein vs. Baragon, King Kong Escapes, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Terror of Mechagodzilla, and many more, including Destroy All Monsters, which for me is the second best Godzilla film.
Yes. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's actually, and this is a really weird comparison unless you watch it, it's actually like the Godzilla equivalent of Endgame. Like, it has an end. It has a third act that does exactly what Endgame did. So I don't know whether that was taken from whether in the comic books took something from that. I don't know, but it's watching it now. It's like, oh shit, that is Endgame.
Wow.
Written by Shinichi Sekizawa, who wrote Fearful Attack of the Flying Saucers, Mothra, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Abora Horror of the Deep, Son of Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and more.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at the idea that one film worked.
Yeah.
With one director and one writer. Therefore, I need you to recreate this a dozen more times.
Yeah, basically.
Essentially. And, you know, with all due respect to the Godzilla films, because I really enjoy them. I think they're great. It does get to that point, particularly when you're watching them back to back, where they all kind of merge into one. And it's hard to tell which is which, because it's very formulaic. It doesn't go too far from the norm. The ones that do actually do it quite successfully, but they don't really go too far out from what was already established.
No, but I will say one thing though. As much as that is true about the Godzilla films, it certainly doesn't do it as much as the Gamera films, which is an absolute copy and paste for every fucking film.
Yeah, I can.
Less good entries in that franchise, but we'll be getting to that soon. And first, let's find out who's in this film.
Hey, I know you.
You have 2 episodes left to learn it in Japanese.
I will maybe do it.
Kenji Sahara plays Kenichi Mitsuki. And he was in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Yorota Q, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and most of the Showa era Godzilla movies.
Okay, playing different characters.
I believe playing different characters. I don't think there was ever one same character in.
No, I don't.
Other than the twins with Mothra.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Hideo Yamamoto plays Shinpai Minami. Is Shinpai and his groundbreaking computer your favourite character?
Yeah, he's
the future.
He's the Bill Gates of the Godzilla universe.
He was in Yojimbo, Kamen Rider, Henshin Ninja Arashi, King Kong Escapes, Kwaidan, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Ebirah, Terror of the Deep, and more.
Wow, he was in some good films.
He was.
There.
I feel like we know every single person in the cast of Yojimbo.
Yes. Yes, it's
Like
likely.
I'm sure we've
Not
had
personally.
Yojimbo,
We don't know
not
them
personally, but
personally.
I'm sure we've had a Yojimbo cast member on every.
It's
episode.
likely. That's a good film.
Sachio Sakai plays Sembayashi, star of Yojimbo,
There we are.
Ikaru, Seven Samurai, The Hidden Fortress, Godzilla, One Wonderful Sunday, Throne of Blood, Sanjuro, The Vampire Doll, King Kong vs. Godzilla, and more.
Nice. And they have a great filmography there.
Yeah, I feel like the Kaiju films and the Kurosawa films, I feel like the cast and crew worked very closely.
Yeah, yeah. And this is, it's essentially, and we look at it from a place of sort of camp or sort of kitschness. But at the time, these were big films.
Yeah.
So it would be like, for example, someone going from winning an Oscar, to starring in a Fast and Furious film.
Yeah.
It's not that far-fetched.
No.
To do that, they go for the big, Helen Mirren did it. Charlize Theron did it,
Yeah. Finally, we have Haruo Nakajima, who plays Godzilla himself. And you probably won't recognize him because he's in a suit. But, he was in Yojimbo.
Right.
The Hidden Fortress, Seven Samurai, all of the Godzilla Showa era movies, Submersion of Japan, Battle of the Japan Sea, Latitude Zero, and more. And for a special bonus round of Hey I Know You, you may know footage from this film from Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, Son of Godzilla, King Kong Escapes, and Destroy All Monsters.
Yes. Yes, it's stock footage from other films.
Isn't this what Power Rangers did?
Hence the cheap cash-in. No, what Power Rangers did was take footage from the Japanese series. So all the fights, so all the kaiju and martial arts style footage was from the Japanese series, but then everything involving the teenagers was. I think that was. I don't think that was for the whole time Power Rangers was on.
Yeah,
because I think once it did well and it was getting like a second season or what. Don't quote me on it because I'm no expert. But I think once it was established, then they did their own fight scenes. But you can tell during the early seasons it's definitely from an older Japanese show.
Yeah. So let's talk about our first feature presentation.
God, Godzilla wa hosha no Minira mo po 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 Dasen gatten Minna kowashite shimau kedo Gomen yo kanben Ore tachi mo 生きてゆくのは厳しいさ
We start with the amazing, as you will have just heard, because we'll have edited it in, Kaiju Machi by Tomonari Yazaki, with various clips of previous Godzilla movies. Now, this song, this amazing, and I really can't emphasize enough, amazing song, which we get multiple Godzilla theme songs throughout the franchise, and I'm here for it. It is the sort of camp I thrive for every day. This is composed by Genta Kano, who's best known for composing the theme song to the Japanese classic Tokyo Drifter.
Wow.
This composer, what a CV.
It's catchy. I'll give it.
Yeah.
I'll give it its dues. It's very catchy. And I think, obviously, and this is what we have to remember, is that we're not the target audience for these films. The target audience is kids. And I feel like if I watched this as a kid with that theme, I would have been invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's, catchy and high camp. So it's good.
My favourite part of the song is when they start singing about Manila, Godzilla's son.
Yes.
And they just break his name down.
Yes.
Manila, thoughts?
Strange.
One of my favorite kaiju. So silly. Such a stupid idea.
Really, yeah. I don't know where his mother is. If it's son of Godzilla, I don't wish to think too hard about it. But where's wife of Godzilla?
This is why they should have let the people behind House make that sequel we were talking about. I would have explained all of it.
But Manila looks creepy. Let's
absolutely.
be fair. Odd.
Manila is the most entertaining kaiju to watch because he just looks fucking bizarre. He really does. I can't understand why he's the same size as a human child.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to Manila and that costume soon enough. Ikiro Miki is a highly imaginative but lonely latchkey kid growing up in urban and polluted Kawasaki. Apologies. Did you recognise... You're not going to. It's a trick question.
Oh.
Do you recognise Ikaru's distinct yellow cap?
I didn't know.
Wow, some education for you.
Oh.
This comes from a nationwide policy at the time meant to avoid traffic accidents. In 1969 alone, the year of the film's release, there were 16,765 deaths due to car accidents, which the majority of those were involving children. Now, can't forget that in any kaiju film because it gets to a certain point, maybe around 1969, where there's about 5 fucking kaiju films that are like, there's so many traffic accidents around here. Watch these traffic accidents. In both this and Gamera.
Yeah, it's true. And also understandable as well.
Yeah.
Because even for this film, like, Ikiro is a latchkey kid.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes home after school and his parents aren't home. But his walk home is treacherous.
It is.
Absolutely. There's so much traffic. The pollution is billowing from the factories. Something that the song actually references.
Yeah.
Like, was it something like the true villain is the billowing factories and there's thick smoke coming out of them. But oh my god, it's really insane how dangerous this walk home is.
If you're going to educate kids, then no point being subtle about it.
No.
I'll give you a bit of a backstory about him. He comes home every day to his family's empty apartment. His only friends are a toy maker named Shinpai Inami and a young girl named Sachiko. Every day after school, Ikaro is tormented by a gang of bullies led by a child named Sanko Gabara. We're introduced to Ikaro telling Sachiko off, telling her that the sound of the traffic sounds like Manila, and Sachiko questioning how he would know this. And we get the theme song to come back. Get a return of the theme song. So, yeah.
It's not just the traffic, though. It's the screeching tyres.
Yeah.
Like, a tyre screeches. That sounds like Manila. Does it?
Actually sounds like Gamera, I'm not going to lie.
It does, actually.
But I know what you're thinking. Wow, if you haven't seen the film, wow, that sounds really tragic. A child who is neglected by his family every day. He's bullied. He's only got 2 friends, one of which is an old man who makes computers. What? Surely something has got to come along and brighten it all up. Spoiler alert, no, this film is depressing as fuck.
It is depressing.
Even the ending is fucking miserable with the resolution.
Yeah, well, it was meant to be even more.
I have that.
We'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
But it is, there seems to be a message here. And the message is, parents, stop neglecting your children. But it gets lost in all the crazy stuff that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like
a PSA.
A PSA with Godzilla and Manila shoehorned in. Shoehorned.
Yeah, by the way, spoiler alert, Godzilla and Manila are realistically, they're not actually in the world that this film is set in. Instead, they're in... And I'm only going to say this briefly for now, because we're going to explain fully where this fits into the allegories and whatnot a little later on. They're only in Ikaro's dreams, right?
Yeah.
So in the world when he's awake, in his world, Godzilla and Manila are the characters that we know him as. So it's kind of like a new Nightmare situation.
It's
It's
so,
meta.
I don't know. See, this is where I get
the director's confirmed. It's meant to be a meta situation.
Oh, so he knows Godzilla and Manila from TV.
Like we do. Yeah.
And from
comic books and
comic
films and
books.
toys and...
Okay, so this is where I got confused, because I was under the assumption that Manila and Godzilla existed, but obviously they lived on Monster Island.
No, that's a place that he has made up, and that's... I mean, that would explain the stock footage away better than you can in Gamera Super Monster, where we're meant to think these things are actually happening in the real world. Whereas this, I mean, you could, at a stretch... Now, I'm not making excuses for the director, because he's not said this himself, but you could say, hang on, he's just remembering what he's seen on TV.
Yes. I mean, that's...
A stretch.
Yeah.
But if there's any... If anyone wanted to defend this film, there's something for you.
Right.
Ikaru's dad goes past on a cargo train and tells him to behave until his mum gets home. And I just got my notes. Who the fuck is looking after him? Like, he literally... No one.
No one. So when you say that Shinpai is his friend, well, he's not really his friend.
No.
He's kind of the guy that lives there who's forced to look after him after school because his parents are neglectful.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the situation, and, you know, we're not here to judge anybody's parenting. I mean,
I'm sure we counted these characters.
I mean, I was partly a latchkey kid, you know, but it is kind of... The whole point is don't neglect your children. The whole point of the film, that's what I'm gathering, is don't neglect your children. And it is weird that he's kind of left to be looked after by this random guy who happens to live in the same building, rather than, you know, a family member or employing a nanny or someone like that. And I understand, you know, obviously both parents have to work to put food on the table, but it's kind of weird to see his dad to drive past on a cargo train and give him a wave. So say, bye son, hope you get home okay. And there's like a motorway in the background, like all this traffic.
He's
going
next to a fucking train track.
Be careful on the train track. Be careful on the motorway when you're crossing with all that traffic. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But then also, his friend, forgive me, what's her name? Sachiko.
Yeah.
Her mother actually turns up on the walk home. I don't know if they happen to be walking in the same place. And so she takes Sachiko home and then says to Ishiro, make sure you get home okay or your mother will be worried. Like, oh, why can't you help him get home? He's a child. But these are like children.
Yeah.
Like, really. And I mean, you know, if they were like, you know, early teens, then we'd understand. But these are like, what, 6, 7-year-olds?
Yeah. Yeah, no, these are so young, and it really doesn't make a difference that they're wearing the fucking hat, because if there was like a fucking lorry or something and they're crossing the road, they're fucking
Are they all
dead.
wearing the hats?
I believe it's only him. And also, can I just confirm, are we pronouncing his name right? Is it Ikaro or Ishiro?
Ikaro. I suppose Ishiro would be an S, wouldn't it? Ikaro. Ikaro.
We apologise.
We apologise. It's,
not a memorable film.
We'll get better for next Japanuary. Ikaro. Oh, Ikaro makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ikaro.
So, his dad and his dad's colleague talked shit about 50 million yen being stolen by some bank robbers. The aspects of the bank robbers in the film was ripped from the headlines, inspired by 1968 robbery that was the largest heist in Japanese history until that point. Yes, this children's film, made specifically for a children's film festival, has a bank robbery side plot based on a real story.
Well, it's a major plot point, isn't it, really? A lot of the film... I mean, it's more relevant to the overall plot than any of the Godzilla parts. So yeah, Ikiro is so lonely that he Now, this is a little confusing because I thought he was having a daydream to begin with. But then he kind of wakes up lying on the floor afterwards.
Looking like he's dead.
Looking like he's dead. So seemingly he's had some sort of nap. What I don't understand is what time of day it is. Like, if he's just got home from school, he probably shouldn't be having a nap because he won't sleep that night.
Yeah, I mean, before that point, he goes to an abandoned field behind a fence and is surrounded by his bullies.
Oh, this is
They tell him to go to a nearby motorbike and start it to make a guy doing work on a ladder fall over. But and remember this for the ending. He's a good kid, so he says no and leaves.
Yes.
You know, good guy. That's who we're rooting for.
They wanted to honk
good
the
example.
horn, and it's gonna startle the guy so much.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So yeah, to escape his loneliness, Icaro sleeps and dreams about visiting Monster Island. Yes, that is the plot. This kid is so lonely and neglected and bullied and just having a fucking miserable time to the point he forces himself to sleep.
Yeah, so and every time he's like, I must sleep to go see Godzilla and Melilla.
Yeah, like, get this kid a therapist. Oh my god. He tells Shinpai all about it because he'd rather go there than the moon. And Shinpai's watching the moon landing on his cutting-edge computer.
Yes. It's true.
He also tells him that the strongest monster on the island is called Gamera, after Sanko the Bully's surname. So yes. Also in this dream world, the big bad guy is named after his bully to make it even more tragic.
Yeah, so it's reflective of his real life issues.
Psychology.
So when we say shoehorned in, it's not the plot. The plot on Monster Island is somewhat relevant to what's going on in Ichiro's Ichiro's
in this character study.
Kind of, but not really. It could have been cut down a lot.
Well, then it wouldn't be a Godzilla film, would it?
No.
Yeah, he goes home by himself and has to grab his own food and drink. He watches the news and it's the report on the robbery, just in case you forgot it existed.
Yes.
He switches to a romantic drama, but he's disgusted by it, so he turns it off. He then talks to his own computer that he's made, to be like his idol, Shenpai. And we then see him getting on a flight to Monster Island with a weird filter surrounding the shot.
Yeah, I don't really...
This is psychedelic, fucking weird. It looks like you could tell this is 1969 going into 1970.
Yes.
During his visit, he witnesses Godzilla battle 3 Kamakuras.
Well, he falls, doesn't he?
He does fall.
Plane,
yeah.
He doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
It's a dream,
but that's a little later on. He's not from the plane. He falls into a deep cave.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
With a really psychedelic background that just looks so fucking weird. But
I thought he fell from the plane.
No, the
How
plane.
did he get off the plane then?
We don't know. It just cut to him there.
I remember him falling.
Yeah, he's watching footage from Abura Terror of the Deep from a tree, whilst shouting out the names of each kaiju, so we know who we're watching.
Yes, thank you.
We can't all have title cards like Gamera Super Monster to remind us who's who.
Yes.
Ikaru is then chased by a rogue Kamakuras and falls into a deep cave with some amazing special effects.
Yes.
But luckily avoids being caught though. He isn't caught. He might have broke his back, may have snapped his neck, but he's not caught. That's fine.
Yes.
Shortly afterwards, he's rescued from the cave by Manila. So, Manila, in this film, shall we talk about the suit? I know you briefly mentioned it before, but both, you know what? Godzilla's had it rough as well. Both of them look like the paint jobs haven't been finished.
Yeah.
This is rough.
Rough. And rough is definitely the word.
This is
rough.
Love Your Babes in Bolton costume.
Well, it's not even that. It's kind of preschool, look what we made.
Yeah.
Particularly Manila.
Yeah.
It feels very unfinished and looks demented.
It does. His eyes are fucking... He has seen some shit.
Yeah.
It looks like Theodore Rex.
Crazy.
That's what it looks like. His eyes look like Theodore Rex.
Theodore Rex.
Also, Manila can talk.
Yes.
He can fucking talk, and he sounds like someone on a radio with a bad signal.
Well, Manila can speak Japanese, but only to Ikiro.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually speak Japanese to Godzilla.
No.
just makes stupid noises. But it does sound like it's recorded under the costume.
Sounds like fucking Build-A-Bear.
It's muffled.
Yeah,
I
the
think
sound
is the
design is
words.
awful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrendous. But he explains that he also has bully problems, coincidentally, and he's bullied by an abusive monster known as Gamera, who, unlike Sanko, the actual bully, has a fucking awful wig.
There's the wig going on. It looks like an old Godzilla costume that they repainted and stuck a wig on.
Fun story. It is.
An old Godzilla costume.
According to the production notes, Gamera is supposed to be a mutated toad, hence why he lacks a tail. The head of Gamera was created by tweaking the head design of a previous Godzilla suit.
There we are.
Mutated toad. Really not what I was getting.
The colour maybe? It's a lighter shade of green, isn't it?
It just looks like punk Godzilla. Like,
yeah, kind of.
but that wig is something.
I don't think if it was done better, I don't think it would be a bad look.
No.
But it wasn't.
It'd be a
done
serve
well,
if
so
it
it
was
is a
done
bad
better.
look.
Ikaro is then awoken by Shinpai, who informs him that his mother must work late again. He woke him up from his escapism to remind him of his neglectful life. So Ikaro goes out to play, but is then frightened by the bullies who are all fishing nearby and finds and explores an abandoned factory, where he finds some souvenirs, like tubes, a headset, and a wallet with someone's license. Necessary might be the suspect for the bank robbery. Who knows?
Ooh. Completely unsupervised.
Yeah.
He gets into an abandoned building.
Yeah.
That looks like it could collapse at any second. He's picking shit up off the floor. He picks up the filthy headphones.
Yeah.
That he continues to wear afterwards. No one questions why these filthy, dirty headphones are on his head. Again, well, maybe I am judging the parenting.
Oh, absolutely, we're judging the parenting.
Definitely judging the parenting.
I think that's the whole idea, but like it's done to the extreme. Like, surely, no, actually, no. People do treat their kids like this, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. So, just what we need for a family film.
It's a weird one because obviously
It's just a strange film to put it in.
I was allowed when I was younger to go out and about before phones and stuff like that. We were allowed to go out and about, but like my mum and dad would give me a time to be in and such, and they would say, don't go too far, and they would definitely have told me not to go into the abandoned building that looks like it needs demolishing. They would say, no, maybe best not to go in there.
Yeah.
And, the idea is that Ikaro is a well-behaved kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lonely kid, but a well-behaved kid. So at no point, I'm assuming, did anyone tell him, maybe you shouldn't go picking shit up from an abandoned factory.
Well, then he hears some sirens nearby, so he leaves, and then he starts bouncing on a car and singing about how it's for sale.
That's kind of rude. That is quite rude, actually.
Very out of character for him at this point.
Yeah, this car's for sale, and he starts bouncing on it, singing a tune about the car being for sale, and then telling the owner it's a junker anyway. Which is quite rude.
Yeah? Well, karma comes around, and the two bank robbers...
Oh, yeah. I think the bullies. I was like...
They were hiding out in a factory, and they have seen Ikaro and know that he has one of their driver's licenses.
Oh.
And they follow him in order to kidnap him. Yes, this film also has a kidnapping plot.
Yes.
Later, after his sukiyaki dinner with Shinpai...
Which looked delicious, by the way.
Amazing.
That did make me hungry.
And telling him not to wake up because
Don't wake
he wants...
me up. I want to dream.
He tells Shinpai not to wake him up because he wants to dream of Godzilla. In between all of this, the police visit to remind us about the bank robbers.
Yes.
They also get treated to a demonstration of one of Shinpai's toys, which is a moving hand that says "Stop Thief."
Yeah, what was that? That was
I have
creepy.
Absolutely no idea. So Ikaro forced himself to sleep again. Looks dead again. And he...
Because I think it's because he's sort of on the floor,
Yeah.
but not like in a bed on the floor. Just like fully dressed.
Yeah.
Like Gail at the bottom of the stairs.
Shut up.
When we were watching Corrie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. When he goes to sleep, he's chased in slow motion by Gamera and reunites with Manila. Together, they both watch Godzilla as he plays catch and fights with Ebera.
Yeah.
And then Kumonga, a giant condor who opens its legs to shoot webs at Godzilla. At one point, he gets it in a certain place and Manila shouts, "Godzilla got it in the eye."
I hate when that happens.
It's quite the sight. Seeing Kumonga shooting these webs out and opening its legs.
Your screensaver, isn't it, Gary?
It is. Also, Manila never calls Godzilla dad.
No.
Like, you're giving him the chance to talk. At least make him say dad. That'd be adorable, wouldn't it?
No one who looks as demented as he does.
And finally, we get some invading jets that absolutely blow shit up. They blow up the entire island. So Ikaro and Manila, dead. Gotta be dead.
Should be.
I mean, there's no way they can survive that.
Well, he survived a bloody fall down a giant pit.
That's true, but I mean, there should be nothing left of their remains. But no, they survive it. They're alive. Gamera appears, and Manila is forced to battle it. And after a short and one-sided battle, which starts with Manila flying towards the screen, accompanied by a very uncomfortably long close-up shot of his crotch, Manila runs away in fear. And I mean, that shot is camp. It is high camp.
So stupid. So Manila, when speaking to Ikaro, is the size of a child.
Yeah.
Then, when it's time to battle, Manila grows, and it does that sort of dum thing. But like, as it was growing, the crotch was just going straight towards the camera. But then Ikaro was kind of placed right in between the legs as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like really awkward. Like, surely Ikaro didn't have to be in that shot. Like, it's fine. So it kind of explains how Godzilla could have a child that's the same size as a human child.
Kind of, yeah.
No, kind of, but why?
Even for a film about, gigantic monsters, logic fails me for that one.
So would we say, this part, obviously the Manila and Ikaro part is filmed for this film.
Yeah.
Is the Manila versus his bully
Gamera, that's filmed for this film.
filmed for this film as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Gamera is for this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I didn't recognise Gamera. It's difficult. There's so many films. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to keep up.
Godzilla returns to train Manila how to fight and how to use its own atomic breath. And Manila's like, no, I don't want to. But Manila's talking in Japanese to Godzilla at this point, which makes no sense because it doesn't happen again. And then just walks straight over to Godzilla and starts being trained.
Yeah, which is from Son of Godzilla. So anything with actual Godzilla is from another film.
No, because Godzilla fights Gamera later on. So that's
True,
Godzilla.
yeah.
We're using another suit that's clearly a bit worn.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah. Fucking hell. Ooh.
In bizarre series of events,
fucking film's only 70 minutes. Confusion.
In a bizarre series of events, Ikaro is woken up this time by the bank robbers and is taken as hostage as means of protection from the authorities. Now, how do we get into this scene?
The transition.
Yeah.
Very cinematic. A leaf costumed man on Monster Island grabs Ikaro, and then we transition into
Scared the shit out of me.
Then we transition into the real life when the kidnappers have grabbed him.
Completely out of nowhere. Yeah. So the bank...
It's probably the most stylish thing they did in this film.
It is. The bank robbers say, "Don't be a sissy," and Ikaru's like, "Boys get scared too."
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, you are kidnapping them.
Breaking down those gender roles. Absolutely.
Out of fear and being watched by the thieves, Ikaru calls for Manila's help and falls asleep again. My God, this poor kid! Where he witnesses Manila being beaten up by Gamera again.
Bless him.
Finally, Ikaru helps Manila fight back at Gamera, and eventually, Manila wins, catapulting the bully through the air by a seesaw-like log, despite the fact that Manila is only tiny and still looks the same size as a human child at this point. And Gamera is the same size as Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm assuming they couldn't do the special effect.
No, they
of
couldn't do it
Manila
every time.
growing,
They couldn't do it every
They
time.
could only afford it once.
So funny. And I love it when, well, I say when Kaiju films do this, it's specifically both of the films we're talking about today, when a seesaw is created to defeat a villain.
Does it happen in Gamera?
It does, but actually, no, that's a flashback to another film, so it's not new for that film.
Yeah.
Godzilla, who was in the area watching, comes to congratulate Manila for its victory, but is ambushed by a vengeful Gamera. But Godzilla's like, "Do you know what, Manila, step back, I got this," and beats down Gamera with hardly any effort. He makes his horns grow purple and sends the bully into retreat, never to bother Manila again.
So I'm assuming that the idea is that Manila has been allowed to fend for himself, but eventually Godzilla, he needs the help of a parent. Very much like Ikura.
Yeah.
When not speaking in Japanese, how would you describe Manila's...
He's a fucking seal.
Seal,
It is absolutely
donkey,
a seal. Seal or a donkey.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna... There we go. I'm glad you did it. So at one point, Manila is kind of knocked out, isn't he?
Yes.
And Ikuro has to help revive Manila
Yeah.
by pushing... This is a strong kid. Pushing a giant rock off a cliff, and it smacks Manila on the ass and wakes him up.
Yeah.
Strange. This is very strange how this dream ends. Because Ikuro, he ends up waking up in distress.
Yeah.
Because he's dreaming that after Godzilla has defeated Gamera, he's about to attack him. And he's saying, "I'm a friend. Please don't attack me. Please don't get me."
He thought
and then
Godzilla was going to murder him.
It's like, oh my God. Like, I thought Godzilla's meant to be
the symbol of hope.
Yeah, and then he wakes up in distress. And it's not the last time we see Godzilla, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, in the film.
So I love how Gamera is Gamera, friend of all children, and Godzilla's like, "I'm going to fucking murder this little bastard if he doesn't get out of my scene."
Exactly. It's so weird.
It's like, you fucking think your parents about, you fucking wait till I'm done with you.
Despite potentially being killed by Godzilla, Ikuro has learnt from his experiences in his dreams and how to face his fears and fight back.
Yes.
He gains the courage to outwit the thieves in a scene far too long. Home Alone-ness is not black. It took ages.
It did.
But he outwits the thieves just in time for the police, who were called by Shinpei to arrive and arrest them.
Yeah, and Shinpei gives an inspiring speech.
He does. One thing I noticed, and obviously we're talking about the idea of a kidnapping plot in a children's film.
Yeah.
Also, one of the kidnappers calls Ikuro a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Which is shocking for a kid's film.
I mean, true though, she leaves him alone every day.
And then he pulls out a knife.
Yeah, he does.
Like, to kill him. Like, oh my God.
This was made for the same festival that was going to Submit House.
Yeah.
For showing, so...
But, I mean, you know, you can have the same effect without him calling a son of a bitch and pulling a knife out on him, ready to cut him up. You know.
Yeah, so Shinpei says, because he's talking shit about Manila again, he's like, "I think I understand. It's like a higher power. Adults believe in God. So why can't kids have their own gods too? Like Manila. you just refer to Manila as a god, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, obviously
Thought-provoking,
Ikaro
groundbreaking.
has seen the films, read the comic books, and, you know, worships the altar of Manila.
I love that he's
And
saying...
that's helped him through. I mean, it's not too dissimilar with you and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Exactly, but I love how he's saying, like, well, yeah, God's practically the same as a fucking made-up character in a fucking film. It's deep. It's deep.
I don't detect any
No.
lies.
The next day, Ikaros stands up to Sanko and his gang and wins. He fights them with some really weird editing, regaining his pride and confidence in the process.
Well, all he kind of did was run at him a few times like a bull, like
Yeah.
smacking his head into him. Oh my god. Again, this is kind of... Is this the message for kids?
Beat up your bullies.
Yeah, I suppose that was kind of the message of Godzilla, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Godzilla's quite... Some of the Godzilla films are very violent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose if he's learnt a lesson from Godzilla, it's whack the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's meant to be the message, but it's the one we get.
Well, he gains their friendship. Now...
By kicking the shit out.
By kicking the shit out of them. If that ended there, that wouldn't be nearly as troublesome as how it actually ends.
Mm.
After he gains their friendship,
Yeah.
he plays the prank they asked him to play on the billboard painter. He beeps that horn, and the painter falls over off the ladder, could have hit his head and killed himself,
Could have.
spills all of his paint over him, and then chases him around. And he tells his dad to get him out of it. So he's become a bully. What a great message for kids.
It's really not a very positive message, the ending. Like, so to resolve his issues with the bullies, I mean, let's be honest, his mum ends up apologising for, doesn't she?
Yeah.
For being neglectful. Well, it's not quite dealt with. But to deal with his bullies, he uses violence and plays a cruel prank on an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
To then become friends with the bullies. So the bullies haven't learnt a lesson.
No.
He's the one who's had to change.
Yeah. He's to become a bully.
He hasn't turned the other cheek. The bullies haven't learnt a lesson.
No.
Really. They just got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was super cool that Ikaro is now a fighter.
Yeah.
And a prankster.
Yeah.
Original prankster.
Yeah. And to think, the director actually wanted to have a more somber ending.
Yeah.
But was forced by Toho to add the more cheerful final sequence. That's the more cheerful final sequence. When the movie was re-released on home video during the 80s, Honda removed this scene, so the movie ends with Ikaro's mother crying due to not being able to spend more time with her son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's all monsters attack. Where actually, all the monsters didn't attack. A handful of monsters attacked.
Yeah. The ones we could shoehorn into the narrative, monsters attack.
Yeah.
It's the who's who of who is available.
Yeah. Not a lot of people.
Yeah, no shit. It's shit. It's shit. I thought this was really bad, and thank God it's only 70 minutes. But even then, some of it I was like, oh, was this necessary? Fun fact, this is the lowest rated feature-length film on Letterboxd, released on Blu-ray by the Criterion Collection.
Yeah. The same company that wanted to release this on Laserdisc in the 90s.
Yeah.
They wanted to release this separately.
Separately?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand it's part of the box set, you know,
Yeah.
so they kind of had to release it. But to release it separately is stupid.
Yeah.
It's
There's
awful.
an appreciation for this film with some fans, and clearly Criterion. But people think it's actually good.
It's not good. I'm not. No, I didn't. It's rubbish.
It is shit.
It feels so like rushed and kind of it insincere, like, because it brings up ideas and then doesn't really deal with them.
No.
Like, even if the film finished with his mum crying, it's like, okay, well, what are you trying to say? Like what? Why are you not dealing with the reason why she's left like this?
Yeah.
You know, what can she do? What you're trying to tell? You're telling people off but you're not giving. You're bringing, problems and not solutions.
Yeah. I will say, I did find a little more appreciation whilst analysing it. But not in a good way. Not in a good way, as in I found more to laugh about.
Manila is high camp.
When you look at the reality
Yeah.
of what's going on here in this film, and you properly look at it, and you're like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, this is ridiculous.
It is. Yeah.
They're trying so hard to create something that means something and is really serious, but without putting any effort in, and it just ends up being an absolute fucking disaster.
I have to say though, because it's kind of disastrous, it's actually more memorable than a few of the other films.
Yeah, you absolutely wouldn't forget this one.
No.
No. For my rating, I'll give it 2 naps to escape the reality of being neglected by your parents out of 10.
There was no way I was gonna let this go. I gave it 2 neglectful parents out of 10.
Masterpiece, Trashterpiece, trash or basic? I think it's a Trashterpiece now.
It's for me, it's trash with some Trashterpiece moments.
Yeah, the bank robber stuff goes on for far too long. That's trash.
Yes, yeah, but the Manila parts, they are Trashterpiece territory. It's
And it's available, if you wanted to experience this for yourself, it's available on video on demand and as part of the Godzilla Showa era Criterion box set.
Such a good box set. Beautiful. I'm so glad we bought it. Yeah, I highly recommend. So good.
And if you enjoyed this, I recommend checking out Destroy All Monsters, because in that film, all monsters do attack.
Yes, that is very true. If you enjoyed this film, then I'd recommend watching the other Godzillas and Mothras. It's quite some. Spoiler alert, I say the same with Gamera as well. Because if you did enjoy this, then you're really going to
I have something slightly different for Gamera.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of, next up, we have Gamera Super Monster, released in 1980. This is the final Showa era Gamera movie now, and the final as a whole for the giant monster films in Showa era. So, just in case you're wondering what I'm going on about when I keep referencing this, the Showa era refers to the Kaiju films made between Godzilla and this film. So, the Heisei era of giant monster films would begin with Godzilla 1985, but the Gamera series would not be revived until Guardian of the Universe in 1995, which ignored the previous films, and it's so much better off for it. You really, if you want to watch the Gamera franchise, watch this film and then watch the 90s ones. Because this film, you genuinely get to see the entire fucking franchise within 90 minutes.
Yes.
All the best scenes.
Yeah, kind of.
This is the only one you need to watch.
I forgot how... I was looking back at my ratings for all the Gamera films before this one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I gave these really low.
Yeah.
Really low. So Showa period, just to reiterate what Gary said, it's kind of referring to a period in Japanese history.
Yeah.
So the same way that we would say Victorian era.
Mm-hmm.
So Showa refers to Emperor Showa, who was emperor from 1926 to 1989.
Yeah.
So these are the films that came out in that period. So rather than, because I have to admit, I got a little confused to begin with, because Showa, I thought was a production company or a director, but it's referring to a historical time period in Japanese history.
Yeah, and it's interesting to group them into that category, because a lot of them do reflect, what it would have been like to live in Japan at that time. Like I said, some of the films have some fantastic political commentary, The Smug Monster one, I do forget the name of it. That was really fucking good. But heavy on the political commentary. Like, that one wasn't trying to be subtle at all. But both Gamera and Godzilla franchises deal with it, and it's interesting that they put these into films that are aimed at children, and it just adds another layer to it. So they're not just throwaway monster films.
No.
But the ones that kind of don't play on it as heavily are actually some of the ones that are worse off for it. Hence, a lot of the Gamera ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. I would recommend, if you are a film fan, the same way that we are film fans, I would recommend watching all the films.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Yeah.
we like Godzilla. You know, some of them are better than others. We like Gamera. Some of them are better than others. We like Japanese culture.
Mhm.
We like Japanese films. I would say, if you are like us, watch more.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
You never know.
So this one was directed by Noriaki Yuasa, and he directed all of the pre-90s Gamera films: Giant Horde Beast, Nazura, The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch, Denjin Zaborga, and Ultraman AT.
Nice.
Written by Nissan Takahashi, who wrote all of the pre-90s Gamera films: Ginza no Honor, The Motherless, The Wind of Youth Group Crosses the Mountain Pass, Thunder Mask, and Zatoichi Monogatari. Now, as for the Attack All Monsters, I don't know how much it was made for or how much it made, but I do know it was made with the intention of pulling production company Dai out of debt. The film failed at the box office, and Dai filed for bankruptcy about 6 months later. That's right. They thought this film was going to save a production company.
It was, I'm assuming, because it uses so much stock footage of previous films, that it was again cheap cash in to gather some sort of profit together. But the parts that they did create for the film are really bad.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it didn't make any money.
Now, would you mind not disrespecting the space women like that, please?
Oh, I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah.
Yeah. So we can't talk about who's in this because no one did anything else.
No, because what they probably did to cut cost was get some of the office workers in to do some acting.
Okay, these queens are professional. I will not have anything bad said about them. This is a better film than Attack All Monsters.
Spoiler alert: it is more of a Trashterpiece than Attack All Monsters.
But I can tell you something about the cast.
Ooh,
there has been a controversy amongst fans regarding the US English dub version of the film, titled Gamera Super Monster. Yes, the version we're talking about today. Some believe that the English dubbing is a deliberate parody of badly dubbed foreign films. Others believe that it is simply one of the worst dubbing jobs ever.
I would agree.
It's rough.
It's really rough. It's very rough. And knowing that, we had to make sure that that's the version that we chose to talk about, of course.
We still get the Hey I Know You bonus round, though. If you recognise any footage in this film, it's stock footage from the entire Gamera franchise.
Yeah.
As well as Space Battleship Yamato and Galaxy Express 999 anime series.
Yes. There is an animated sequence, isn't there, with Gamera and a random train.
It's cut with footage between those two anime shows.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. It is heavy on the stock footage.
It is.
Heavy.
Yeah.
And it is an hour and a half, whereas Attack All Monsters was an hour and 10.
Yeah.
And that 20 minutes is pretty much just added stock footage.
It is.
Really, let's be fair.
It is. If you just heard a weird noise, yes, it's fucking fireworks on the 16th of January in our area. They love fireworks around here, don't
they? Yeah, our area does really love fireworks
for some reason. But yeah, time for our...
I fucking hate it. I mean, if we had a dog, I'd be fucking pissed off. I'd be going and saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It's not even that dark outside yet.
I don't know what they might be celebrating something. And please forgive me if something's being celebrated, but you don't have to have fireworks to celebrate.
If it's celebrating something, then we're celebrating 365 days a year. It is constant around it. Anyway, you don't want to hear about our fireworks. You want to hear about
tangent.
You want to hear about our second feature presentation. which starts with opening credits in space, set to the amazing theme song Love for Future, followed by a boring narration about the universe and solar system, accompanied by animated pictures of spaceships, and a clip of a spaceship flying from behind the camera, very much in the style of Star Wars.
Tonight on the Star Wars Holiday Special, Beatrice Arthur.
What do you prefer? The Gamera theme song? Well, one of the versions of the Gamera theme song from this film, or the Attack on Monsters?
Gamera's way better.
Yeah.
It's way better. It's catchy. I don't really like it when the kid sings it. I'm not gonna lie.
That's camp.
It's a little much. I'm not a fan of children singing.
I thought you'd make an exception for this one.
Something to do with the pitch. I don't know. I'm like a dog with the dog whistle.
But
I don't
technically,
like it.
it's not a child singing, it's an old lady trying to be a child.
That is very true. That is very accurate. Yes.
We're introduced to Earth superheroes, the Space Women.
Do you not want to hear what the narrator says? I have it
Did you
written
get any of that down?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There are 200 billion stars present in the Milky Way galaxy. Our sun and its 9 planets consist of just one solar system within the galaxy. There are billions of other such systems, many greater than our own solar system. But compared to the enormous size of the universe itself, even a galaxy is but a tiny pinpoint of life. In our vast universe, there are billions of other such galaxies that are just as big. The universe is limitless in size, and mankind is not the only creature in it that wages wars against itself. There are others who make war throughout the universe. From the farthest reaches of space comes a spaceship bent on murder and destruction. It is the pirate spaceship Xanon.
Yes.
Starring Beatrice Arthur.
And I thought the point of this show is that we have to watch these films so that people don't have to.
No.
You just made us sit through that fucking voiceover.
Excuse me.
Very accurate voiceover. That's exactly how it sounds.
I'm absolutely going for a voiceover role. I thought that was brilliant.
Well, we're introduced to 3 absolute slay queens.
Absolute queens.
The Space Women, Kalara, Marsha, and Mitten. One works in a pet shop.
One owns a pet shop.
Well, she owns a...
Excuse me.
That's true.
Owns
That's
a
true.
pet shop.
One is a car saleswoman, and the other is a teacher. They change into their camp white and red outfits and fly away. One of them gets into a van that glows orange and also flies away.
Yeah, the special effects. Let's get out the way now.
They're camp.
They are. It's Raining Men music video levels.
Yeah.
It's not good, ladies.
No.
But it's so good, ladies. Yeah. Kalara, she seems to be the leader. She seems to be one in charge.
Yeah.
And she has the most screen time during the film.
Lesbian icon.
Oh, she is statuesque. She's got short hair and real strong makeup. Very much like, Joan Chen in Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
That style, absolutely beautiful. She's always serving in a blazer.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, and I will tell you why throughout. They're giving me queer energy, and she is a queen.
Yeah. You can explain why this is a gay film.
Well, I think it's a gay film because you have these 3 women here who live together in a box that seemingly has only one bed.
Yeah.
And I do think that the kid comes across a little
gay
camp, and these women take him under their wing.
They do.
Almost like a chosen family. Because his mum is very harsh.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. And they protect him from Xanon.
Yeah.
Who I think is homophobic.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are.
Yeah, we're introduced to Xanon here. As he says, "Space women, pay attention. I know about your plan to protect Earth." And he keeps going on, but then they start interrupting him, and you can't understand what they're saying or what he's saying.
Yeah, so Xanon is a pirate ship.
Yeah,
That
an
can
evil
talk.
alien.
Pirate ship. We never actually see Xanon.
No, but we know he's an evil alien. Whether he's...
But the narrator tells us that the
Yeah.
pirate ship is called Xanon.
Okay, so that's the ship talking, of course it is.
Seemingly.
Yeah, he's come to enslave Earth, hasn't he?
Yes. What do you think to the superheroine outfits?
It's a serve.
Do you think that maybe the big chunky heel might be a little impractical? I mean, it's a look.
Well, I mean,
It's
it
serve,
doesn't do them wrong.
but might be a little impractical.
The real question is, what do you prefer, the strong business attire or the superhero costumes?
I like the strong business attire. I do.
I do. I did
That blazer is
notice
strong.
whenever they needed to fight, they did transform back into the strong business attire, which was a little more practical to fight in.
So they kind of when they become super women.
Mm-hmm.
How do they refer to themselves?
Space women.
Space women. Excuse me. When they become space women, they're in their cheap superhero costumes.
Looking
and
like
when
ABBA.
they're Earth women, yeah, like
It's absolutely
definitely
ABBA.
When they're Earth women, they're in their smart casual attire. Now, a big part of this film is that when they are space women, they are detectable by Xanon.
Yes.
And Xanon just throws a laser down and tries to kill them. But when they are Earth women in their smart casual attire, Xanon can't clock them.
No.
Again, this is what I'm thinking. This is homophobia.
Yeah.
This is when the women are smart casual, i.e., when they appear heterosexual.
Yeah.
They're not. No lasers are firing at them.
That's true.
They're undetectable.
Yeah.
But when their fabulous ABBA rip-off costumes are on, the homophobia comes at them.
Yeah.
The lasers
I'm on board
from
with this.
space.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah. It's usually me trying to create a gay narrative, but
but this one I think fits.
yeah, it does. It does.
I think it does, and
Yeah.
I think it's so progressive.
Yeah, I find it comforting to watch.
It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I wish I had 3 space women to help me come out.
Xanon sends the evil queen, Garugi, and when I say queen, I mean queen.
She is a queen.
They send her to Earth, and she's there to clear all obstacles that prevent them from attacking the Earth. So she dresses like she's in a new wave band and goes for a walk, where she's harassed by some fucking creeps who are like, "Hey, sweetie pie, how about a drink? You'd like that, wouldn't you?" And she gives the guy a shock and seemingly murders him. In his new wave outfit.
She is absolutely so. It's a beautiful look. And she is, she's looking like an Earth woman. She's, conforming to gender norms. She's always got a handbag.
Yeah.
At the ready.
It is a fierce look.
It is. So fierce. That she wears it throughout the whole fucking film.
She does. She is not changing it out for anyone.
What's that? Karen from Real Housewives of Potomac. Oh, it's a beautiful outfit, and it should be worn twice, but not in the same season.
Yes, it is always worn throughout this
It
film.
is.
And her superhero costume is the most lackluster out of all of them.
It's giving budget constraints.
Yeah, it's like we spent a lot of time on the ABBA tribute outfits. We can't really give you one as well. But it doesn't matter because whoever look makes up for it.
It's true.
We're introduced to gay young boy Kaiju as he's playing keyboard for his mother. And she says, "Good boy, you can go now."
Yeah. He is. He's
Another neglectful parent.
It's a keyboard. It's the organ, isn't it?
It's an organ, yeah.
It's an organ. Which apparently every household has.
Yeah, this is
film.
absolutely all filmed in the same house.
Yeah.
That is the same organ. Yeah. Another neglectful mother. She can't stand the sight of him.
She's I don't think she's neglectful. I think she's too harsh.
Yeah.
And I think she's homophobic.
Yeah, she is.
I think she's struggling to come to terms with her child's homosexuality and his, over the top nature. Because he is over the fucking top.
He is.
Particularly when he's putting on a show, playing the organ.
Yeah. Ikaro from the previous film wishes he could be this camp. Yeah, this one has got a bit too much confidence about him. And also,
He's a lot.
I think Gamera is his gayness.
Gamera could represent, yeah.
And I'll tell you why very shortly, because him and his friends, they're talking about Gamera and blah, 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 whatever. Reading through a Gamera comic and so on. And they go to visit a policeman, and he's like, "Hi, what is it? I'm not the policeman from one of your comic books, you know."
Yeah. They go to him, strangely enough. Not something I would ever, ask a policeman about at any age. And they question who would win in a fight between a policeman in the comic book, I think, and Gamera from the comic book. Well, who would win in a fight? Who should we ask? Let's ask a policeman.
Also, one of the stupidest questions that I ever fucking heard in my life. Who's going to win, a policeman or a giant fucking turtle that just camp spins and shoots fire out of himself? Like, fucking hell.
Flaming.
Flaming.
Oh my god, Gamera is literally flaming.
Yeah.
Flaming Mo.
Yeah, so they're obsessed
Flaming Mo?
with Gamera.
From The Simpsons. Is that like flaming homo?
Maybe.
Do you think?
Potentially.
That's a bit...
Anyway,
I
yeah.
like The Simpsons.
They're obsessed with Gamera, the friend of all children.
The Simpsons homophobic. No, because they had that episode with John Waters, didn't they?
It was, if it was, it's not anymore.
Yeah.
The friend of all children, Gamera, friend of all gays.
Yes.
Yeah, they're talking to this policeman about his pet turtle, and he threatens to arrest them, and they all jump in sync. And
scream like only old women pretending to be young boys can.
I don't know if there's a single male actor in this film. Everyone sounds like a woman putting on a voice. It's amazing. Keiichi goes to the pet shop, and Clara gives him a turtle for free. He's like, "No, I don't want that one. It's shit. I'll have this one instead." And takes a different one.
Yeah. Yeah, Clara, for some reason, gives him a free turtle.
Yeah.
Then we get some really nice random stock footage
of jets being shot down,
planes being shot down, where the sound effects are too loud for us to hear what the narrator's saying.
Keiichi starts playing organ again, and this time he's singing a song about how Gamera is his best friend, and his mother's like, "Gamera, fuck, he's talking about being gay. You little bastard, stop fucking playing." She is fuming.
Yeah, it's given like little camp kids performing like, I don't know, Peter Andre's Mysterious Girl at the karaoke. I don't know. No, is it not? Gary Cruz?
No, it wasn't just limited to Peter Andre.
It's not bringing back memories.
It was Grease, Steps, Backstreet Boys, you name it.
And where did you perform?
In my living room or at the local social club on a fucking karaoke night. This isn't my psychology episode. This is we're diving into the psyche of poor kids.
It's relatable.
In Japan,
it's relatable content,
films.
Gary. Relatable content.
Well, it is, because he's told to stop singing and start studying. And then she's like, "And that little fucking turtle, that can go as well." It's cruel to keep him as a pet.
Yeah, she says that, which is very strange, because Clara is selling turtles.
Yeah.
So if the idea is that selling and having turtles as pets is cruel, then our superhero is selling turtles.
She's selling homosexuality, Chris.
Yeah, but is that like cruel?
No, it's an allegory.
I don't think this is.
It is.
It kind of fits though. This is the weird
It
part.
is. She's selling homosexuality.
It does kind of make
comfort.
sense. Yeah.
That is her way of comforting him.
The mum is struggling, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she convinced him to get rid of it. It didn't take much convincing,
because she was fine when he was just playing the organ.
Yeah.
But when he did his over-the-top singing...
About Gamera,
she took issue with it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he agrees immediately, takes his turtle down to the river and lets him go to tell him how much he'll miss him.
Yeah. Kind of pointless, that whole thing, wasn't it?
And we get title cards for each of these, by the way, coming up now.
We do.
Vampire Bat and Pterosaur Hybrid, Gaius. Oh, you've juggled those words around a bit. There's letters. Gaius. Gaius. Starts attacking everyone, and the narrator informs us this is happening, even though we can see it.
Yes.
Marsha does some sort of dance and plays a mini keyboard, which makes her change into a superhero outfit and disappears, much to the confusion of an old man on the highway.
Yeah, so the idea is that she's stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And this dance is...
Yeah, so they all do it.
High camp. Every time they want to change, they do this dance. And why it's not taken over TikTok, I don't know.
It is so
it's
camp.
high camp. But a bit shit. Like, it's not like over the top dance. It's like boom, boom, boom.
It's like someone on Drag Race who's never done choreography being asked to do choreography for a challenge.
It's a bit like you said you would join the line dancing class, but your heart's not really in it 100%.
Yeah, they all regroup and agree that they have to continue posing as Earth women so they could defeat Garugi.
Yeah, they'll need to stay as Earth women unless it's very important. This is what they say. So they don't get shot by a random laser. They have to stay as Earth women unless it's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important not too long after this. Because Keiichi comes to visit Kalara and Marsha and meet her.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays them the Gamera theme and explains his strong connection to Gamera, which gives Kalara an idea. Now...
The other two are just bopping their heads along.
They're bopping their heads. So they're like, yeah, I
fucking
I like this song. You go, you be yourself, Keiichi. Kilara is really into it. Like, she's really...
It is intense.
It's intense. She gives a very... I don't know how to describe
it. Is
the
a
look. It's an
stare.
intense, like, I've got an idea. But, like, the fist goes...
She raises her fist up.
Raises her fist and she's like, yes.
She is so determined. This camp little gay song, it fucking motivates the shit out of her.
She's like,
ready.
Yes, I am ready to defeat this pirate ship or whatever. Whatever is going on.
She even tells him after, like, they're talking about, like, yeah, okay, maybe Gamera can do something for us with all of this and whatnot. She's like, I think it's a worthwhile cause to die for the Earth. I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute, calm down.
So the three space women change into space women mode because apparently it was important, and then back again.
Yeah. But, hun, before they even do that, they ask him to look after the fucking shop. They ask this child...
But he doesn't look after the shop. He never actually leaves the flat.
They do their choreography routine, they leave him there, and he literally leaves. But, yeah, he literally leaves and goes outside to tell Gamera to have a good day as he flies over the city.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but before that...
Yeah,
women,
they transform.
They go to the playground... They do their little dance. They change into space women. Then they get shot at. And then change back again straight away.
Straight away, and that's it.
Completely pointless. Gamera appears in town.
Yeah.
Like flying overhead.
Mm-hmm.
And Keiichi is super happy with his turtle becoming Gamera. So the idea is that the turtle that he put back into the river has now become Gamera. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gamera's like, no, it's me. What the fuck are you talking about?
This is very much in public. Giant turtle flying overhead. Yeah. I think it'd be big news, wouldn't it? I mean,
I don't. I've seen it all by this point.
If it happened at Salford Keys, it'd be at least make its way to the papers.
But we've had a few Gamera films before this point.
But then why does his mum deny the existence of Gamera?
Because she's homophobic. You know this.
But it's a giant fucking turtle flying through the sky.
Homosexuality is not invisible.
No.
This is it. Like, this is Gamera this whole
time.
We're
here, we're queer, we're giant turtles.
Absolutely. Garugi finds him and asks him what happened. Did she not see?
What was that?
She asks him to go on a walk with her and tell her all about it.
Which he
does. Yeah.
Which,
stranger danger.
Yeah.
Leaves the shop
More
unattended.
kids being neglected.
Gaius is back and slices a car in half as a photographer tries taking a picture of him.
Who?
Gaius.
Oh, yeah.
Gamera comes spinning along and beats the shit out of Gaius. Now, I forgot how fucking hilarious it is when Gamera does a spinning thing. It is so camp.
It is. I mean, if somebody did it on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race, everyone would be living for it.
Gaius almost defeats Gamera, but Gamera throws a rock into his mouth, starts humping him from behind, and then flies him into a volcano. Yes, that really happens.
On numerous occasions, Gamera looks like he's humping his enemies. And it's stupid and hilarious because we are immature.
Yeah. And also, I believe Gaius is supposed to be male.
Right.
So,
okay.
Garugi meets Kaiichi and his friends outside of school, and
this is the problem with kaijus, though, isn't it? I mean, obviously, you're not going to see any genitalia.
No.
So they tend to be gendered via stereotypes.
Yeah.
So, I think, all kaijus should be genderless anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Garugi waits outside school for Kaiichi and his friends, and when she bumps into them, she's like, ha, that fucking Gamera. What a load of shit. She's like, he's gonna lose. And then just walks away.
Walks off. She just walks off.
That fucking gay boy Gamera? Nah.
Gamera's gonna lose. Bye. Maybe she's like the Westboro Baptist. Is it the Westboro Baptist Church? The one
she's
who like
protesting,
and she just walks over and Gamera's gonna lose.
And these fucking school kids are just there like, what the
Like, what?
fuck? And she's still serving as well at the same time.
She is.
The Space Women watch this on their wall via their futuristic projector.
They do, yes. They have one of those projectors, and they've already told every single person they've ever met that, oh my god, it's life-changing. You should get one of these projectors. Yeah. They're the best. You not got a projector? Oh, it'll change your life. Projector. You got to get
like an air fryer, isn't it?
Yeah, you got an air fryer, projector. Yeah.
So they're not watching her telling school kids that Gamera shit. They're watching the fight with Gaius on there.
Oh,
and one of them's like, I wish we could tell Kaiichi about it. And Killera says, we don't need to. Kaiichi can see all of this in his dreams. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, not a fucking another one.
Not more dreams. I'm not gonna lie, because what's the point? It's just a podcast about films. I only wrote down stock footage.
Don't worry,
whenever there was any.
I have all of it here.
No, I don't care.
I don't have which film each bit's from, but I have all of it here.
Yeah, just stock footage.
Yeah, and then we cut to Kaiichi talking in his sleep about Gamera, and his mum just looks over like, ugh, what a fucking loser.
Now, I have an issue with this.
You okay?
Yeah. His dad is referred to on many occasions and never seen.
Yeah, absent father.
Absent father. Or he's working or he's sleeping. It's not in the budget. No need for another parent. He's just, off screen. Why is Kaiichi's mother and Kaiichi sleeping in the same room in single beds for him to wake her up celebrating Gamera's victory? Like, what's that about?
Yeah, that's weird.
But then, later on, Kaiichi goes to bed in his room and he's got a double bed.
Yeah.
So do his parents sleep in two single beds? Maybe his dad was working late and he was like, can I sleep with you, Mummy? And they sleep in, the single bed in the same room. But then why does Kaiichi have a double bed to himself?
Troubled relationship between the mum and dad.
Very confusing.
The next day he's like, Mum, Gamera killed Gaius last night. She's like, darling, I'm really not interested in all your fucking monster stories.
Do you know what she's interested in? Dusting a plant.
Yeah, she's dusted a plant.
She does not give two shits about Gamera and the fate of the earth.
And she's like,
just dusting a plant.
And then he's like, I really don't understand why it's not in all the papers today. She's not big news. Look.
I said that as well. I don't understand why it wasn't.
His mum tells him he was dreaming, dismisses it all, and tells him to go wake his father up. But instead, he goes to the pet shop and tells Kilara about it. And he's like, you believe me? And she's like, yes. He's like, okay, bye.
Well, Kilara tells him that the next attack will be at sea.
Mm-hmm.
And then Garugi appears and offers to buy him a burger lunch.
Hamburger meal.
A hamburger? No, it's just burger lunch.
No, it's just hamburger meal.
And why have I put burger lunch then? What's a burger lunch? So he can talk more about Gamera.
Yeah.
And she eventually offers to take him to the beach to see Gamera in action. I mean, I'm sorry, but alarm bells should be ringing.
Yeah.
Teach your children about stranger danger. Because, spoiler alert, she is actually trying to kill him.
Yeah, but his mum...
Destroy the Earth.
His mum, this bitch, she's probably hoping he gets murdered.
Yeah, probably.
She's probably fucking paying her to do it.
Stock footage.
Yeah, so...
Your turn.
Before that, he's telling her all about his adventures, and he mentions Kalari, and Garugi's like, girl at the pet shop, and the camera slowly zooms in on her face as she stares at the camera.
Oh, he does spill the tea, doesn't he? And it gets him into trouble.
But she takes him to a beach where they watch Gamera fight alien shark Zigra. Now, we get some more psychedelic editing as well whilst he's falling into the beach. After a very slight struggle, Gamera wins and kills Zigra. Garugi is fucking fuming and tries her best to convince Kaiichi to stay with her. He tells her he knows she's a bad spacewoman because she never looks happy when Gamera wins.
Yeah.
That is homophobia.
He has her sustenance. He runs away. These actors having to act awestruck on this random beach. Nothing's going on. Ooh.
In a bizarre series of events, first of all, Keiichi's mother visits Clara, and she's like, "Oh, where's my son? I'm worried." Clara's like, "I'll keep an eye for us." Okay, bye, and then just leaves. She doesn't give a shit. In a bizarre series of events, Clara plays her organ, which opens up the projector on her wall again. She can see Keiichi being chased by Garugi on the beach. Now, they're running towards the projector. I remember when I first watched this, I thought, nah, they're not going to go there. It's not going to happen. She plays a few more notes. Keiichi, in a parallel with next week's original versus remake episode, The Ring, jumps through the fucking screen and into the room.
Yes.
I shit you not. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a spacewoman." He jumps through the fucking screen. Why have you got nothing to say about that?
Well, it's perfectly normal.
It's not. It's
given oh god, what's
Demons
the song?
2.
No, it's given
Take on Me.
Take on Me music video.
Yeah.
Why did I struggle with Take on Me just then?
What's the big bad Xanon? He's like, Garugi, you have failed me for the last time. Give me one last chance. I'll have that space woman killed. Okay, this is your last chance. Oh my god. And this isn't even her last chance.
Yeah, the confusing part is that Garugi has failed and she's to be punished because Gamera defeated the Kaijus.
Yeah.
But that must have had nothing to
There's
do
nothing
with
to do with her. She can't control
yeah. What is she meant to do with Gamera? Yeah, very strange. Stranger is the space women's sleeping arrangement. Now, you thought Keiichi and his mother had strange sleeping arrangements. Kilara, oh god, these names. Kilara, she shows him where they sleep at night. And it's in a small see-through box in her van.
It's absolutely a travel container for a hamster.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's really bad special effects, by the way. Because she makes herself small she's in, and he's like, "Oh, look." It's not explained why they sleep in there.
No.
But it's explained later, so I'll bring it up now. They sleep in there because that box protects them from the laser, from being found out whilst they sleep.
Yes, it does.
I'm confused because if they're presenting as Earth women when they go to sleep, they can't be found out anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the point of the box?
Yeah.
Why don't you just like sleep in the
Sleep
house?
as Earth women.
Just sleep as Earth women in the house.
Also, they do this to prove to Koichi that they're space women. I'm sorry. She just made you jump through a fucking wall.
It's true.
What more proof do you need?
It's true.
But yeah, no, it's very strange. But I think it's to do with the scene later on. I feel like they wrote it and then forgot. Oh shit, this probably would kill those characters.
Yeah.
What can we do to explain it? First of all, though, we get alien squid Virus, who has a scrap with Gamera, whilst Garugi cheers on Virus.
Yeah, poor actress has to stay on the beach for way too long. It's very windy.
Gamera gets in between Virus's tentacles in a very awkward position and pushes it along the water. It absolutely looks like Gamera's given him a good scene.
Absolutely. Yeah, good railing.
Virus stabs and almost kills Gamera. But Gamera flies it to the air, starts spinning whilst Virus is still inside him. And this causes Virus to drop dead into the sea. And back at the pet shop, Koichi's like, he won! And Clara's like, yes, are you happy now? Oh, what? I thought you were on his side. She sounded well pissed off. Garugi gets another talent off from Xanon. Like, you've had all your chances. Like, okay, this time I'll definitely do it. You've got another chance.
Yeah, but this time,
every time
she's gonna kill the space women. So she's gonna go after the space women specifically, even though seemingly they have nothing to do with Gamera. But anyway, Koichi goes home finally. His mum's kind of been worried about him, because if he does go missing, she won't get her check each month, her child support, and he goes to bed in his double bed.
Yeah.
After his mum tells him off yet again for reading fairy tales.
Yeah.
Emphasis on fairy, I feel there.
I think so. He goes to, when he goes to sleep, this is when we get the stock footage on the anime shows.
Yeah.
And he's like, I must be dreaming. I wish it was real.
The next day, Koichi finds the space women's van has disappeared.
Do you not have in your notes Kalera being a great employer?
No.
She checks that all the space women have had their days off and that they're happy with where they're working as space women.
Does she?
Yeah, she's like, have you all had your days off? She's like, then it's time. No idea what for,
no,
but she's like, this is time. And yeah, then Garugi places an explosive device on the van, and that's when it disappears.
Right.
Yeah. So the van didn't just disappear. Garugi made it disappear. Did you not see that?
Yeah, but this is what... No, I must have missed that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when you have to make notes, and it gets a little confusing at times.
Yeah, well...
I thoroughly apologise. Dock my wages, Gary.
Have you had your days off?
No. No, I haven't, actually. We're doing this fucking thing how many years?
Then it
Not
is
a day
time.
off.
Koichi goes looking for them and finds them shrunken in a bag in the car park. He's like, good grief, you're in big trouble. Someone's trying to kill you off.
Yeah, the person that he spilt the tea to.
Yeah,
it's all his
he's
fault.
the reason.
Yeah.
Koichi wants to know how they survived the van being destroyed. Now, let's face it, that's what we're all asking. And this is what the screenwriters are asking themselves after they made the van explode. Or disappear.
Yeah, so the idea is that they only have enough energy to protect them in a force field for the size of a box. So they have to shrink down to sleep in the box. In the van.
Yeah.
But they have, like, a whole apartment. I'm assuming it's over the pet store.
Yeah.
So why can't they sleep in the box indoors? Or just present as Earth women?
Yeah.
And then they won't get shot?
I'm more gagged at the fact that a bag was left in a car park and no one tried to steal it.
No. Yeah.
Not get that in the UK. Koichi takes them back to the shop. Garugi's at the shop waiting, and Koichi tells her the space women aren't there, so she believes him, which is a moron, and tells Xanon that she successfully killed them. So he sends female prehistoric dinosaur Jiger to cause some chaos. Now, Wikipedia and everything about this on the internet about Jiger emphasizes that this is a female kaiju.
Okay.
Don't know why, but yeah. Gamera shows up to save the day.
Because it's pink and got a bow and a blonde wig and it's got its nails done.
Gamera shows up to save the day whilst Kaiichi and the space women watch on their wall screen in the shop. After Jiger is killed...
Seriously, that projector. You gotta get one. You gotta get one.
After Jiger is killed, Xanon tells Garugi she's all out of chances.
Finally.
No, I have another plan. I'll take over Gamera's brain. I'll control it. You have one more chance.
Yeah, so she gets one final last chance. And her plan is to put a collar on Gamera's neck that allows them to control him. Now...
Yes, this was from one of the other films.
Yes. They do it straight away.
Yeah.
With great ease.
Yeah.
I made a note here. It's a wonderful idea and very easily executed.
Mm-hmm.
If she had thought of this earlier, it would have saved us all a lot of
It's
fucking
true.
time.
It's true. And she's like, go destroy the Earth, Gamera.
And he does.
He does.
And it's like, why have you wasted my fucking time? Why have I had to sit through all this fucking stock footage when you easily could have just done this from the beginning?
Yeah, but the plan fails soon enough. Spoiler alert.
It does.
Kaiichi and the girls watch Gamera's destruction on the news on a normal TV. Not on the projector. They're giving it a rest for a bit. They're watching just normal TV.
Yeah.
And he's like, Gamera, have you gone crazy? Clara plays
You gotta
organ.
make him stop.
Clara plays organ and starts doing an X-ray on Gamera
Yeah.
and spots the mind control device. She reveals they don't have weapons and are not allowed to use them, so she'll just sacrifice herself to save Gamera.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
So she proceeds to remove the mind control device without much effort and doesn't sacrifice herself.
No, what she did. So the idea is that when she's presenting as a space woman,
As a lesbian.
yeah, she obviously has random lasers flying at her. So she flies up to Gamera, lands on his whatever this neck thing is that's controlling him, and the laser would shoot her and in turn shoot this device, and Gamera would be saved and the world would be saved. But because she's a superwoman, space woman, queen, she manages to get up there and get out the way with great ease.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot off anyway. So this whole thing of like, I'm going to sacrifice myself is, again, a complete waste of time.
It is.
She's like, I'm just going to fly up there. Oh, it's very dangerous. Rather than say, I'm going to sacrifice myself for Earth, she could have just said, yeah, it's a bit dangerous, but I think I can do it.
Dramatic.
Wish me luck, guys. She's way over dramatic.
This is like one of 3 occasions that sacrificing yourself is mentioned in this film. Like, everyone's just dying to kill themselves for some reason.
Yeah.
And they all say it to Kaiichi as well, like a child.
Yeah. So she's not actually harmed.
No, she's fine. She's perfectly fine. She's like, Gamera, go fight more monsters. You carry on being your true self. Live to be you, Gamera.
Yeah, and I swear I heard her say to Kaiichi, he's gone to another planet to fight. He's gone to another planet. Because, by all accounts, this is the end. I'm assuming they had no kaijus left.
It's not the end of the film.
No, but this is the final. But their plan.
Their final plan, yeah.
Their final plan.
Yeah. But there is more kaiju.
Yeah, there is. Which is confusing.
Somehow. But Garugi's had it now. She's absolutely fucking
fuming.
had it. So she approaches Clara on the playground, just like Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck in Daredevil.
No.
And they have one of the most camp fights I have ever fucking seen.
It's top tier.
Yeah.
So at one point, Garugi rips her skirt off.
Yeah.
Bucks Fizz style. Revealing shorts underneath. A lot of the stunt work is very clearly carried out by men in wigs.
Yeah.
Garugi accidentally shoots herself in the leg at one point. She then contemplates killing herself.
She literally puts a gun to her head.
In front of a kid.
But there's kicks, there's flips, there's tricks, there's everything. It is the best sequence in the film by far.
Garugi eventually has a change of heart after watching Kaiichi smack the dirt off Clara's ass.
She realises she can come out now. She's got her chosen
She has
family.
a moment. Then Keiichi's like, oh, you got dust on you. He's like smacking her
Yeah.
backside. And then Garugi sort of looks at it like, oh, maybe I could have a chosen family like they have now. Yeah, which I thought was
Yeah.
well, interesting. Is
Mhm.
that the word I want?
Yeah.
There we go.
Knife-headed alien monster Goron rises from the ground and starts fighting Gamera.
Why? I really don't understand.
Gamera starts doing a few swings on a pole.
He does that's camp.
Goron throws stars from his head at Gamera, but it's no use. Gamera murders him with a rocket before flying into animated space again.
Yeah, following a cartoon train that seems
Yeah.
to go into the sun, or very confusing.
In a bizarre series of events, talking of weird sleeping arrangements,
This is highly inappropriate.
Garuki's been placed in bed with Kaiichi, and his mother explains they put her there after she blacked out, and that she should let her leg wound heal. And she also explains that Kaiichi insisted they look after her because he's always wanted a sister.
Okay, so you have a room with 2 single beds.
That's true.
Put your son and this grown-ass woman, if he's so adamant, put your son and this grown-ass woman that he only met less than a week ago, that has been following him, chasing him on the beach, trying to kill him and his friends. Place them in the 2 single beds, you fucking freakazoids.
I told you, she wants him to be killed. She's setting it up.
If this woman had woken up and killed her son,
she'd have been happy.
She would have been happy.
She'd have fucking thanked her for it.
Absolutely ridiculous. And Garugi wakes up, and after the whole Keiichi would love a big sister, she says, me as a sister, a woman like me.
But yeah, Sissy's gay too.
What's that? What's a woman like me? What song's that?
A woman like me.
A woman like me.
I have no idea what you're
It
about.
might be Meghan Trainor.
Barugan, an enormous lizard whose tongue sprays a freeze gas that can freeze things solid, and whose back spines emit a powerful rainbow ray that can melt or dissolve any solid object.
Yes.
An absolute fucking gay icon. Arrives to fuck shit up. But in a strange move, Gamera is a bit homophobic and flies into the rainbow and destroys it.
Maybe this is sort of internalized homophobia.
Yeah, it could be.
What I'm also confused with the whole sleeping arrangement, I'm sorry to keep going back to it, but it confuses me greatly. The space women have a whole ass house.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming has beds in that they're not using because they sleep in a box. Why couldn't she have just slept there?
She could have just got in bed with them. 4 of them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's highly inappropriate.
Barugon's rainbow's killed, and that kills Barugon.
Oh, bless.
Xanon tells Garugi that her days are fucking numbered, and she tells him where to find the space women, but stands in front of them. Yes, she sacrifices herself.
She sacrifices herself to save the space women and to save Earth.
Yeah, and
she says, yeah, just follow wherever my watch is and send a laser. And yeah.
Yeah, and she said, if I'm born again, I want to be on Earth with you. And then she dies and disappears.
Yeah.
Gamera is pissed off at Garugi for stealing the show and sacrificing himself. So he sacrifices himself to destroy Xanon once and for all by flying directly into the spaceship.
Yeah, so she says before she dies, she says the spaceship will now attack Earth, and even Gamera won't be able to stop it.
Well,
to which I say,
bitch, hold my beer.
Why has so much of my time been wasted with these random kaiju moments, with her, moments, and she's going to sacrifice herself anyway. And if she's like, well, the pirate ship could just destroy Earth anyway.
She could have just killed him in one
He could have
shot.
done that from the fucking beginning. Could have saved me an hour and a half of my life, for fuck's sake. It was just, why was that not the plan from the start? And why make a big deal of sacrificing yourself if you just think everyone's going to die anyway? Like, if I come back, I hope it's on Earth. You've just told everyone Earth's about to be destroyed. This is where I genuinely, I'm not sure if it's the dubbing that's taking the piss. When it's stuff like that, and I'm like, well, no, what you've said is really stupid.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It would be interesting, and, you know, I wasn't going to do it, but to watch the Japanese subtitled version afterwards. But it was better this way, funnier.
Yeah, Gamera and the spaceship disappear, and we have to look at the stars for far too long. There's like a minute straight of just the stars, nothing else.
Awkwardly long pause.
Kaishi and the girls have a cry over Gamera. Kalara tells Kaishi how great it was that Gamera sacrificed himself and then offers to show him the world, adopting him into their chosen family, the House of Abba tributes. And they all fly away together as we get the end credits.
So literally, now that Xanon has been defeated, these 3 lesbian queens are now free to be themselves.
Yeah.
And Kaishi is being shown a world free of homophobia.
Taking him to gay bars.
He can be free to sing his camp songs without fear of judgment, without fear of lasers.
Yeah.
You know, that's the wish I have for all of us.
Yeah.
I wish I could go outside and be my true self without lasers flying at me, but, you know, it is but a dream.
That's Gamera Super Monster.
That is Gamera Super Monster. The fuck was that?
Absolute Trashterpiece. I love it so much. It is so gay. It is just entertaining from start to finish. Again, you're watching an entire franchise in 90 minutes. What more could you ask for?
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, really just.
I do wish the Space Women got their own separate film.
They should have had a TV series.
Yeah.
That would have been good, wouldn't it?
Would have. But yeah.
I highly recommend. Yeah. No, it's very, very good.
And as for ratings, I give it 5 dry humping kaiju out of 10.
I give it 4. Well, no. I suppose in keeping, I'd have to say 3 lesbian queens. Lesbian space women queens. Out of 10.
Masterpiece, Trashterpiece, Trash or Basic. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a Trashterpiece.
It's a Trashterpiece. It's highly entertaining.
Because all the stock footage scenes are fucking ridiculous as well, and just as camp. Like, they literally pick the best bits from the other films.
Yeah, I mean, what you're watching these films for is it's not the humans.
No.
You know, it's for the fight sequences. You know, that's what you're watching them for. So if they just like throw the best stuff in there and then have this really stupid storyline, but like really camp, I'm entertained.
Yeah,
I'm entertained, and I would definitely say that this is much better than All Monsters Attack. Yeah, much better.
And it's available on Prime Video, Arrow Player, Video on Demand, and as part of the Gamera Arrow Blu-ray collection.
Yes.
And if you enjoyed this, I recommend checking out Barbarella.
Nice. Oh, good choice.
More Camp Space Queens.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this, I just recommend watching the other Gamera films, I suppose, or the Japanese Spider-Man TV series. I think he's giving me that kind of energy. If you see the clips online.
And now on to the awards. We'll be giving out awards as a whole, not for both films, but one of the films is going to be a winner out of both. First up, Biggest Queen is, of course, Kalara.
It's Kalara.
The leader of the Space Women.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
No. Biggest Gasp. I've got the bank robber dressed like a giant leaf grabbing Ikaro in All Monsters Attack.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. I just put Gamera constantly looking like he's humping his opponents. I mean, it made me gasp.
Best dialogue, I think I understand. It's like a higher power. Adults believe in God, so why can't kids have their own gods too, like Manila?
Yeah, these are 2 films that maybe aren't best known for the dialogue. So I just put son of a bitch whilst pulling out a flick knife on a child in a children's film.
And that's camp. I have Kalara and Garugi's playground fight.
Absolutely. 100% agree. If you only watch one part of the film on YouTube, make sure it's that.
So if you've seen either of these films, let us know what your thoughts are on them. We're Horrorcore Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, Horrorcore Trash on Twitter. I'm Dead at Gaz92 on Letterboxd, Gazmo205 on Instagram, and GazCruise92 on Twitter.
I'm Chris Barker823 on Instagram and Letterboxd.
And go check out Gasp Horrorfest across all social media as well. Give us a rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, like and follow on everything else. Next week, it's double episode week again. And we're bringing you, on Tuesday, Female Prisoner Scorpion Through the Years. Or should I say, Through the Year, because it was only 72 and 73.
Yeah, we're back with some Mika Kaji. Super excited.
Yeah.
Love those films.
And on Friday, it's this month's original versus remake, and we'll be discussing both versions of The Ring.
Yeah, very excited for that one. I've not seen the American remake.
No, so that'll be interesting.
So that will be very interesting.
Yeah. We'll be back same time, same place on Tuesday.
Bye.